Oh, hello. Welcome to another video, hopefully a little bit shorter than the last video today, which was a 1 hour sort of epic into the Sisters Novitiates. Today we return into the irregular series of a Kill Team Shower Thoughts. Are we going to see free rules for Kill Team? Let me tell you what I mean by that. So, we still need a Kill Team manual. I've been banging this particular drum on and off in my predictions videos for months now. We need some way for them to collect the White Dwarf content. At least the 4 teams, the Hunter Clade, the Warp Coven, the Wormblade, and the Void Dancer Troop. Okay? And you could include other things in there as well. You could include sentries, you could include the terrain glossary, things like that. But those 4 teams, I hope nobody kind of will disagree with me on this. Those 4 teams are just as much part of the core meta. Harlequins for the longest time, Void Dance Troop, meta-defining. People are really talking up Hunter Clade now as a meta-defining team. Wormblade and Warp Coven, not so much, but they do get play. You know, they are as valid, as important, and as integral to the ecosystem of the game as all the boxed teams, all the teams that are coming in the boxes. And yet, you can't buy these rules from Games Workshop anymore. These 4 White Dwarves are out of stock. At the time of recording, the White Dwarf with the Sentries rule and the White Dwarf with the Terrain glossary, those 2, you can still go and get those from GamesWorkshop.com. If you check around your friendly local gaming stores, you might still find some of these White Dwarves in the wild, but certainly that Hunter Clade White Dwarf that came out the back end of 2021, you're going to be hard pressed to find that anywhere. And that is really bad for the health of the game. Because if you've got a new player that's coming into the game and they're like, oh, I really like Mechanicum, and you want to go over them and go, well, don't play the compendium, don't buy the compendium, don't play the compendium. You want to play Hunter Clade, they're really cool, they've just got a really cool buff. Here's the rules. Like, where can I get a copy of these rules? And you're like, well, I can send you a PDF that's sort of, if you're quiet about it, to clarify, I can't send you a PDF, but people on the internet, on various Discords, will hook you up with a PDF of scans that they've taken from their White Dwarf, right? Or you can go to Wahapedia, okay? I'm not bashing Wahapedia, it's a good resource, but it's not a great look for getting new players into the game. If it's like, oh, you want these rules where you got to pirate. Some people really love having a physical thing, pages, and a bit of heft in front of them. Some people, I totally get it. This video is going to go over the head of a lot of people because there are people out there who pirate all their rules anyway as a matter of course, didn't buy them when they're in print, don't buy the core rule books, they pirate things, they print things out, and they're quite happy being that way, or they play on their phone. I was playing some Kill Team a couple of weeks ago, back up north. I was playing some Kill Team, and I would say 50% of the games I played, somebody was just getting the things off the phone. Personally, I kind of hate that, trying to go through an electronic device, because I find it is much slower and more annoying. I want to have something in print in my hand to play the game. Now, it was different back in the day, years ago. They used to make for the iPad codexes, iBooks. I loved those. I bought loads of 40k codexes for my iPad. In fact, I bought an iPad just to get those codexes. They were a very unique thing, though, where they were using like Apple's suite of tools for making textbooks for education, and everything was a contextual link where you could just click on the special rule and it came up with like a little box and there was a searchable glossary, and they were very, very nice. And I actually had a tablet just for that purpose. And if the world changed and everything was being produced in a nice... Oh, the slides changed without me telling it to. And everything was being produced in a nice digital format, right? I would stick with a tablet. I'd get a tablet and use it for that purpose. But Games Workshop's digital products are always bad. And yeah, you can use Wahapedia on your phone, and some people really love, some people prefer Wahapedia. Personally, I don't, But it's one of those things where whatever your take is on it, it's not good for the game. It's not good for Games Workshop as a company either. They have this problem. They have the same problem with recasters, right? There are a lot of people who would never purchase something from a recaster, because buying stuff from a recaster is quite difficult, because they are scared of being shut down. They're often not native English speakers. You're often kind of trying to find out about them through word of mouth and email and PayPal invoices and writing stuff down. Getting that relationship with a recaster, not that I've ever done it, but for people that have, is apparently, it looks terrifying and very difficult. Why might somebody be tempted to do that? Because they want some part or something that Games Workshop doesn't want to sell them anymore, right? That's what's going to drive somebody to make that initial contact. Like, I really want this Forge World thing, and it's been out of stock for months and months and months. Once you go down that rabbit hole of establishing that relationship, well, now the recaster is right there with much cheaper prices than you will be paying for that product from Games Workshop or from a friendly local gaming store. Now, this is not a video about me condoning piracy. This is just me explaining that pipeline exists. And Games Workshop make a rod for their own backs, because they have stuff that they hype up and they make desirable and they market, and then they can't seem to keep it in stock. Or they can't, especially when it comes to things that Forge World have made, or printed media, books, cards, tokens, things like that. They can't seem to keep it available for people to buy. And if people literally can't buy something, they're going to try and find another way of getting it, because you've made them want it. And then your marketing machine has pushed them into the hands of people. Once you're there, once you know where to get these things, once you've found the link on whatever website it is, where everyone just uploads scans of every book axiomatically, it becomes tempting to never buy another book. So it's not good for the consumer, and I would guess it's not good for Games Workshop either, right? So they need an annual. They need to do an annual. Now, in the old days, they did an annual. In 2019, I believe, was the last annual. They didn't do a 2020 annual, and then, of course, the new version of Kill Team came out in 2021. In the old days, the annual contained 3 or 4 reprinted teams. I say 3 or 4 reprinted teams because it had Demons and Kroot, which had appeared in White Dwarf. It had the Blackstone Fortress stuff, so all of the characters and the team that was the Chaos guys in Blackstone Fortress, with their leader was like their own team that had either come from White Dwarf or the website. And they had stuff from White Dwarf that, it wasn't all the Space Marine stuff. I think it was like all the Phobos stuff, that when the Phobos stuff came out for 40k, it got Kill Team rules in White Dwarf. So they've got precedent of producing this book that consolidates, you know, all this stuff from White Dwarf. And the compendium back in the day had a whole new Kill Team that was exclusive to the compendium. There was the Sisters of Battle Kill Team in that compendium 2019. And I have been expecting a similar product for Kill Team 21. I've been expecting a book with, you know, these 4 kill teams, the 2 articles from White Dwarf about sentries and terrain, 1 more team that's brand new to the book to get people to buy the book, and then maybe some other articles, narrative things, new scenarios, that sort of thing. Maybe the long-awaited ability to give your Space Marines Ultramarines or Blood Angels and have that do something really tiny, like a tiny little list of extra rules. But we've been expecting this annual. They've said nothing. Surely we're now at the end of the Kill Team year. So if it's going to be an annual, if it's going to be an annual publication, we'd expect to see it coming out alongside Into the Dark, right? And they've said nothing. Now, they still might, right? They still might, because they always do this thing where when they announce something's coming, they do the what's in the box video, and then only when the pre-orders actually go live do they go, here's the headline pre-order, and here's, you know, the dice and the other bits and pieces that are going alongside it. So maybe there's an annual that's going to come alongside Into the Dark, and we're going to find out about it at the last minute, because they don't feel like mentioning it or hyping it up to people. Games Workshop have done this before. Speaking of things Games Workshop have done before, apologies, you saw this slide earlier. Warcry, right? Have I just snuck you into a Warcry video by making a whole thing about Kill Team? Well, you be the judge. Warcry is an interesting thing to me. So the second edition of Warcry is on pre-order today. Pre-order it last. I think it's the last. Yeah, and it comes out next weekend officially. You can have it in your hand, right? If you're going to pre-order Warcry, by the way, help me out by pre-ordering it from Element Games down in the description. That really does help the channel out. Not a Warcry video as such. Warcry is really interesting. I'm going to go into this because you clicked on a Kill Team video. You've been watching for 10 minutes of a Kill Team video, so I'm going to assume you know nothing about Warcry and just explain quickly to you broad strokes from a Kill Teamer's point of view. Warcry has bespoke teams, just like Kill Team does, that come in the boxes in individual plastic kits. However, it's more like, if you look at the Navy breaches, and they are something that is just for Kill Team, all the Warcry teams, the bespoke teams for Warcry, designed for Warcry, are all that. They're all new little nuggets of IP. They're different kinds of... They're all of them, with one exception. They're all different kinds of chaos cult that exist in Age of Sigmar. And then there's one dark elf-themed bespoke team that came out in Warcry Catacombs. Okay? But with that one exception, all the plastic teams are chaos. And this goes through to the new box with 2 new plastic chaos bespoke teams. And then they have... effectively a compendium, but I don't want you to think about it like in terms of the Kill Team compendium, right? If a Kill Team 21, you think the compendium is they're not very deep, they're not very interesting lists. In many ways, the Warcry compendium lists are deeper and more interesting because Warcry has a points. It still has a points-based system, so you're assembling a 1,000-point Warcry warband. Warcry is simultaneously more simple and more complicated than Kill Team because it's actually a simpler play experience. It's very quick, but it has that list-building thing that we as Kill Teamers have kind of thrown away, right? For better or for worse, depending on your point of view. But Warcry still has that. And the Warcry compendium, it's very, very deep for each team. You've got a lot of things to choose from, and you've got to evaluate those choices and make your list add up, and you've got some things that are better and worse and more optimal and less optimal. And I actually take the view that, and it was certainly the view that in the previous edition of Warcry, the compendium teams were all basically better than the bespoke teams. And the bespoke teams were basically irrelevant. A lot of people didn't like that. They've now rebalanced it. I think the bespoke teams are a lot more powerful. The compendium teams still though have a lot more to them, a lot more interest, which is to say, basically, apart from sneaking a Warcry video into your Kill Team video, what I'm saying is they've given away a lot of pages. These 4 things, if you're not interested in Warcry, just to see what I'm banging on about, go and look at these 4 articles on Warcom. They've given away a lot of pages of product. We're talking about a very thick book. Don't think of these 1, 2, 3, 4 as being four Kill Team teams. Grand Alliance Death just by itself. You've got the Soul Black Gravelords, the Nighthorns, the Ossiarch, Bone Reapers, and the Flesh Eater Courts, right? So you've got 4. That's 4 teams, right? Destruction, similarly, 4 or 5 teams. Chaos includes all the bespoke teams from the first year of Warcry as well, right? So not only does it include things like pulling from your big Chaos army, in Age of Sigmar, all the different things you can do, so Warriors of Chaos, Beastmen, that sort of thing. You've also got all the bespoke teams effectively from the first year of Warcry with the updated and rebalanced rules for the new edition, which is like a 1.5 edition, it's just some tweaks. And for Grand Alliance Order, you've got about 7 versions of Stormcast. I'm not a big Stormcast guy, right? But there's about 7 different versions of Stormcast because they keep opening a new chamber. And then you've got like other things that you thought were their own army list, like dark elves, dwarves, the other kind of dwarf, the Ideneth Deepkin, loads of different things. And then you've got Cities of Sigmar, which is like a whole... I swear, Cities of Sigmar could basically be the entire how to build your teams section for a game. You could have launched Warcry and just had the Cities of Sigmar stuff and been like, you're going to play Cities of Sigmar against other Cities of Sigmar, and I reckon there'd have been enough depth there to make a game, and that's just another little bit, right? So all this is to say, I'm not trying to hard sell you Warcry, all this is to say, they've given away a metric ton of rules. Why? Why have they done this? I'm going to assume it's some kind of printing weirdness. Games Workshop is in a really odd place with printing, and I keep hearing really inconsistent versions of this from different people, where some stuff's being printed in China, some stuff's being printed in the UK, and it's weirdly inconsistent. I remember that Glass did a review of the chapter approver 40k and the General's Handbook for Age of Sigmar, and he spent out half the review talking about how the quality of the binding on one was much better than the quality of the binding on the other, which to me, and I don't know, I'm not a guy who knows things, but to me that screams that they're being printed up in different places with different techniques available in the different print shops, and they're getting some stuff's being printed in a more budget place, I think. And so part of me wonders if the Warcry compendium was being printed in the cheaper place, the budget place, the place with less options, and because it was such a thick thing, they got them off the boat and pages were falling out and it didn't pass QA. And then they were like, oh, bother, right? We've made this game. It's launched, like the Warcry boxes, they're going out the door. Warcry 1.5 is a go. We've got to get this product out. Otherwise the game's going to be dead on arrival. So we're going to have to give it away for free. Why does it keep doing that? We're going to have to give it away for free. So therefore, will they give the Kill Team stuff away for free? Has Kill Team been affected by the same... Now, Zimbad reckons a container's gone overboard, from China. And this, if you watch documentaries about container ships, this happens as well. A container ship's going, if a container just falls overboard, that's goodbye, and then you claim off the insurance, but you're not getting that. That stuff's gone. So it could be that as well, it could be just didn't arrive. Whatever the issue is, and I have no genuine information, if you do have genuine insider information and not like repeating, because what's annoying, if I say, Zimbad told me that it was a container, the risk is that somebody else with a YouTube channel watches this video and then they say, I heard, not saying where they heard it from, I heard that it was a container that fell off a ship, and then I hear that video that is repeating to me what I said to them when they were viewing my video, and I go, there's another source saying the same thing that I'd heard, so now I think that's even more true, and things just kind of reverb around the internet in a very annoying way. But if you have any actual inside information about what went on with the Warcry compendium, and if what that means for printed products going forwards, pass it on in the comments. Or if you want to do it more anonymously, join the Discord, send me a DM. I'm really, really curious to know, because what I think is it could therefore mean that what would make sense to me is that they upload PDFs of the Kill Team White Dwarf teams for free on the website. They just put 4 PDFs, there you go, there's the teams, and if anyone put them in the download section, and then if anybody asks where are the rules for the AdMech we got, they're on Warcom. Yeah, the official release is there, it's on Warcom, it's free, fiddly boots. Would be healthy for the game. Does that mean that we're going to miss out on, because I assume if they did a book, they'd put the equivalent of the Sisters of Battle team in 2019, they'd put something in there new as a sweetener, that we hadn't seen before. Maybe that's where they'll put in the team that lets you mix intercessors and assault intercessors that everybody assumes that we're going to get, right? maybe we miss out on that and that gets given to us in another way. I don't know. But this is why it's a shower thought. I don't come to you with answers. I only come to you with perplexing questions. Let's talk about Warhammer Plus. Things that I've avoided talking about on this channel. I am a subscriber to Warhammer Plus because I am a colossal whale that will buy basically anything Games Workshop makes with a Space Marine on it, right? To my own detriment a lot of the time. I quite like Warhammer Plus, the whole package with the miniature and everything else and the app, and taking all of it together, yeah, I quite like it. Oh boy, Warhammer Vault is bad. So if you subscribe to Warhammer Plus, you get access to something called the Warhammer Vault, where they upload publications and you can browse them for free, and that sounds really good. That sounds amazing. That's a massive amount of value added. And the 4 White Dwarves that have the 4 teams in for Kill Team are available right now on Warhammer Plus. So if you pay your money for your subscription, they're out there at Warhammer Plus. Before you go and do that, though, just bear in mind, all you can do with these is view them in your browser. In the Warhammer Plus, Warhammer Vault website. And the pages load so incredibly slowly. And you can't really print them. And you can't really save them. Because I don't know if anybody knows anything about Adobe as a company. Adobe are really keen on helping people secure their copyright and helping people secure things. As far as I can tell, right, and I teach high school computer science. If you know more than me, I don't pretend to know everything, that's my level of knowledge. As far as I can tell, what's happening here is because you never have the locally stored PDF on your computer. What you're getting is like layered PNG files, right? And it's transmitting. It's got the PDF on its end. It's using some kind of an algorithm to convert the PDF file into layers of PNG files. It's streaming those PNG files to the browser, and the browser's reassembling the pages of the PDF, which is why the Warhammer Plus website the Warhammer Vault website is so mind-bendingly slow to render these documents, because it's doing this bizarre thing, which is all in service of you not being able to download those documents, print them, do anything with them, aside from view them through the Warhammer Vault website. And they do this so that if you stop maintaining your subscription, you lose access, so you can't subscribe for 1 month and just download all the content and have it and upload it to wherever and share it around. I get it. I understand you want to protect your asset. Yeah, you know, can I really fault Games Workshop? Not really. Where I will fault them is if somebody decides, oh, this is fine now, this is the solution. If you officially want access to these teams, you go and, oh, please stop. Why? This video is going to be the worst one I ever made. If you want official access to these teams, you go and you subscribe to Warhammer Plus, but you better never let that subscription run out. You better never try and play Kill Team in somewhere where you've got no Wi-Fi. Yeah, you better make sure that you've got an expensive data plan. I mean, it just it's not a solution, but I thought I'd mention it. Okay, you know, if I had infinite free time and I still remembered the things that I knew when I was a computer science undergraduate, then you could perhaps code something to scrape because the data's being sent to you, and you could try and scrape it and reassemble it back into a PDF, and that ought to be possible against the terms of service, most definitely. But trust me when I say it would be an absolute pain in the proverbial testicles, right? An absolute pain. So that's not a solution, Games Workshop. Don't even think that that's the solution. That's not the solution. There is no question to which Warhammer Plus is the solution, unless the answer is, what streaming service do I pay for because I want a cool free miniature? It's like Amazon Prime in that way. It's the streaming service that I pay for because I want this other thing. Yeah, and this Warhammer Vault is the most annoying part of Warhammer Plus. because it is so paranoid. It is so paranoid that you might be able to save a copy of an old White Dwarf to your computer that it renders the service pretty much unusable for the actual people who are actually paying a monthly fee to use Warhammer Vault. It's So I've tricked you into watching a video that's about Warcry, and I've tricked you into watching a video where I complain about Warhammer Plus. But you clicked on it because it was a Kill Team video, am I right? No. I started off with a Kill Team shower of thought. We went places. Please do give me your predictions and your whether are we going to get an annual / compendium? Are we going to get free PDF files? Are they just going to tell us where's our Warhammer Plus? That's fine. I'd love to engage with you down in the comments. I'm kind of on the fence about doing Warcry stuff. I kind of really want to get into Warcry. But it's not been particularly, like, across the from what I hear, it's not particularly popular with people who are into kill teams, and then go, oh, you like kill teams, you'll also like Warcry, and a lot of people are like, I don't really like swords, or whatever it is. So I probably will, if I get into it, inevitably I'll do some videos anyway, because like I have with Horus Heresy, I'm pressing on with that, even though people have told me loud and clear, not that interested in big games. I like skirmish games. Like, okay, but Warcry would be a skirmish game, so maybe we'll get somewhere with that. I don't know. But the reason I'm not doing any content right now on it, where I go through, I could have filled my boots. I could make content for days on all of these free PDF rules that they've brought out, where I read through the rules and I give you my take. The trouble is that my take will be worth precisely nothing in a bag, because I played about 4 games of Warcry in first edition and then went, this isn't particularly balanced. I'm going to wait to see if I've decided not to get the Warcry, the core box. Going to pick up a rulebook off the electronic bay from someone else that is splitting up the box, and I'm going to play some games, the stuff that I have, and then I will report back and we will see how we go. But thankfully the compendium is free, so I need to buy the one little book, not 2. So I'm happy. If you like the video, please press the like button. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I'm desperately trying to get to that 1,000 subscribers mark, where YouTube will give me a tiny little dribble of the money that they apparently make from my videos. It would just be interesting. Wow, such high quality. Here I am asking for subscribers, and of course what's happened is I've used an older YouTube, an older PowerPoint as my template from when I used to do the narration within PowerPoint, and it's got the timings from that old video. Good. I mean, a professional would close the whole thing and redo it and fix the problem now that I've worked out what the problem is. But I don't have standards. Now, I do have standards. They're just quite low. And you wouldn't get the kind of funny, emotional, expressive, first take, I don't script anything kind of nonsense if I did that. You would just get me trying to remember what it is I said the first time round and delivering it with less aplomb. So with that excuse made, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I hope you're having a great evening, whatever it is that you're doing. Please join the Discord. That's the thing I want to say, because that's cool as well. Alright, thanks guys. Cheery, bye.